Hello, my name is Ari Waldman. I'm a person who stutters. Today is Tuesday, October 20th, 2020, the second day of Mar Cheshvan. My video, Tanya, from Chabad.org, day 15. Daily study, daily Tanya. Tanya-iggeret hakodesh, middle of epistle 25. Tuesday, the 2nd of Cheshvan, 5781, October 20th, 2020. Scrolling down. Tanya-iggeret hakodesh, middle of epistle 25. V'yachar hadvarim v'hamet ha'ela hagluyim v'hayaduim l'chol nechazor. La'inyan rishon be'inyan hakaas shehu ka'oved avoda zara. After these words are this truth, which are manifest and known to all, let us return to the original subject concerning anger, where a person who is angry is likened to an idolater. V'hayinu b'mile di'alma ki hakol bidei shamayim chutz miriat shamayim. This is so only with regard to mundane matters, for everything is in the hands of heaven except for the fear of heaven. Since everything is in God's hands, there is no reason to become angry. However, with regard to matters involving the fear of heaven, anger does have a place. Lachein b'milei dishmaya daf rushe b'mei isura lo shayach hai tama imran. Hence, with respect to heavenly matters, to fellow Jew from transgressing a prohibition, the reason stated does not apply for these matters, are not in God's hands, but in man's. Ukmo shekatuv v'yaktsuf Moshe, as it is written, and Moshe was angry, v'ayinu mishum ki Hashem hakara lefanav mitzvah zu le'afrushi me isura kedei lischuto. This was because God caused him to encounter this mitzvah of warding a fellow Jew from transgressing a prohibition in order to make him meritorious. Thus, the situation is obviously quite different from being angry at someone because of harm or offense. Ach zehu kishiyesh biyado limchot b'katzpo v'ka'aso. That's tally for touching the beard. I told you this is no. Al chavera. But this applies only when one is able to prevent transgression by his wrath and anger against his fellow man. In such a case, he is permitted to become angry, as did Moses. Aval kishe'ein biyodo limchot kugon nochri hamidbar mival valo bitfilato. However, when he is unable to change the situation, as in the case of the Gentile who talks and disturbs him while he is praying, im kein ma'zot asa Hashem lo, the question then arises, what is this that God has done to him, that a Gentile should disrupt his prayers? Ein zot ki im sheyit gaver yit amitz yoter b'tfilato be'omek halev uva kavana gedola kol kach. This is so only in order that he prevail and strengthen himself evermore in his prayers. From the depths of his heart, and with such intense concentration, ad shelo yishma dvorai hanachri, that he will not hear the Gentiles talk. Ach, she lamad rega zo tzarich hit orurut rabba va'atsuma. However, for such a level, one needs a great and intense arousal. The etza haya utza lihit orurut zo. He mi'anyin ze atzma. And the counsel suggested to attain such an arousal derives from this very subject. Ke shishim al libo v'yidbonen inyan yeridat hashchina kiv kol vatered pulaim lihit labish nitzutz me ha'arata. One should consider and meditate on the concept of the descent of the Shekhinah, as it were, how it descended in wondrous fashion, to have a spark of its radiance invested within the klipot. Asher hi bivchinat galut betoch haklipa derech klal lehit yotem. It is generally in a sense of exile among the klipot in order to animate them. Viata hapa'am nitzutz ha'rata mitlabish bibchinat galud derech prat. And now a spark of its radiation vets itself in a particular state of exile, b'dibor nachri zeh, hamid bar dvarim hamit hamavlablim avodat Hashem hi kavanat hatvila. You want to scroll down a little bit? Okay. I want to move the screen forward to reduce the glare. In the speech of this Gentile who utters words that disturb one's divine service, i.e., one's devout concentration during divine prayer, uchamo shekatuv la'ayil, ki ze leumat ze v'kulei. And as explained above, God created this opposite, that each element of the holy side of the universe having its unholy counterpart in the other side, the Sitra Achra, V'dibur ha'elyon, mitlabish b'dibur hat hit chaton v'kulei. Thus the supernal speech vests itself in neither speech and so on, i.e., supernal speech vests itself in a lower degree of speech, ultimately descending through a self-screening chain of descent until it provides life force even for the klipot. V'zehu mamash asher shalo shlat ha'adam ba'adam laro lo. This indeed is the meaning of the verse that man rules over man to his detriment, which was explained above in terms of the temporary dominion of the evil man of Klippa over the sacred man, the holy side of the universe, When this Gentile uses the spark, which is exiled within himself, to hinder a Jew who is trying to pray, the klipot are manifestly ruling over the holy side of the universe. The forces of holiness, however, can thereby be invigorated and vitalized when the worshiper reacts by upgrading his concentration. Let me read this sentence, this paragraph again. When this Gentile utilizes the spark which is exiled within himself to hinder a Jew who is trying to pray, the klipot are manifestly ruling over the holy side of the universe. The forces of holiness, however, can thereby be invigorated and idolized when the worshiper reacts by upgrading his concentration. I'm just scrolling down. This he will be prompted to do when he meditates on the above described descent of the Shekhinah into exile, and from this exile he will seek to liberate it. In the words of the Alter Rebbe, Tahayinu she'al yedei zeh mitorer ha'adam lihitpalel yoter bekavana ma'umaka deliba ad shalo yishma diburav. This is to say that through this meditation, the individual is aroused to pray with greater devotion from the depth of his heart until he would not hear the Gentile's words. The above explains the statement of the Baal Shem Tov in Savat Harivash that the Shekhinah vests itself in this Gentile. For everything in this world houses a spark of holiness, and within this Gentile, the spark is present in a state of exile for the reason explained above. Umash ekatav hamulaket sharata. As for the compiler of the Savat Harivash, using the word sharta, meaning that the Shekhinah dwelt or abided within this Gentile, lo yada likevan likavin halashon bediktuk. He was unable to focus on the precise term. I'm just scrolling down a little more. Okay. Ki habal Shem Tov Zachrenu Livracha Haya Omer Divrei Torah Balashon Ashkenaz V'lo Balashon hakodesh. For the Baal Shem Tov of blessed memory used to deliver Torah teachings in Yiddish, not in the holy tongue. The compiler translating these discourses into Hebrew transmitted their content, not their precise terminology. And in this case, he erred. V'ratza lomar nitlabsha. He really meant to say nitlabsha. Became vested. For sharta, dwelt or abided, implies that the Shekhinah was revealed. Vayinu bibichinat galut, whereas nit labsha means that the Shekhinah was vested in a state of exile. V'zehu uviprat im hu nachri. This distinction explains the emphasis in Savat HaRivash, and especially if he is a Gentile. Were we to be speaking of a manifest, an indwelling of the Shekhinah, how could it be said the divine presence resides to a greater extent within this Gentile who is disturbing a Jew at prayer than within the worshiper? Rather, we are speaking of a self-obscuring. Just a second. Rather, we are speaking of a self-obscuring investiture of the Shekhinah within the Gentile. She'az hi bechinat galut bioter. For then it is so much more in exile. Ve'ein lit muha im nitzutz me ha-arat Shechina nikra b'shem Shechina. There is no need to wonder at a spark of the radiance of the Shechina being referred to in Savat HaRivash as Shechina. Taha Ashkenaz shafilu malach nivra nikra b'shem Hashem b'parshat Vayera leperush Haramban. Scrolling down a little more. For we find that even a created angel, which is not a spark of the Shekhinah, is referred to by God's name in Parshat Vayera, in the verse. And he said, Lord, do not pass by your servant, according to the commentary of Rabbi Moses Nachmanides, the Ramban. Ukamo shekatuv vatikra shem Hashem hadover aleha v'kulei v'chahai gona tuva. And as it is likewise written, and Hagar called the name of God, who spoke to her, where we are explicitly told that we are speaking of an angel, and many more passages like this. This is the end of my video Tanya reading, day 15. Have a great day.